Now we're going to go to the blue chip area of the Carolinas. We've got on the phone with us right now. Oh, hang on. Do we have him on the phone with us?
Yes.
We do. Okay, Rob Woodul, you there?
Greg, yes, I'm here.
How you doing? Rob is from Carolina One Real Estate. That's the largest real estate company in the Charleston, South Carolina area. And we've talked about the Carolinas on this show a little bit. I'll just set it up by saying that the Carolinas didn't really have as big of a party during the boom of the roaring 2000s as certainly places like Las Vegas or Florida. But there are migration patterns that are moving companies and people into the Carolinas and particularly Charleston. And so what are you seeing down there? What's the vibe? How are the investors behaving? What's going on in Charleston?
Well, the biggest thing is we've seen the influx of Boeing. They're going to be building their new 757 planes, and we've also got another wind turbine, GE, with our colleges here that they're going to be building here in Charleston. So the feel right now for us is strong, and it's good. What the investor is seeing is that the influx of people that are coming here are not going to buy their first year. They're going to be looking to rent, and that's created a great opportunity. And with the market, with the market the way it is, and the inventory of the market that we have, speaking to investors, they're telling us that the quality of inventory is the best it's ever been, and they are buying properties and holding them, of course, and then putting people in there.
Now, it's interesting. Two things you said. One, when they say quality of inventory, what do they mean by quality? How do they judge that?
Well, I think it was the quality, because we have so much, as a realtor, there's a lot of inventory and we've got to move it out. The investors looking at the amount of inventory that are out there that they can pick and choose, especially if it's a REO property. And, banks are working with people to clean up the houses so it's not an abandoned house and things are ripped out of the house. There's really a great deal, and they're getting to take advantage of that.
So you've got people that are coming in who are seasoned investors. They have some experience. You said that, of course, they're doing the buy and hold. But has that always been the case? Because a lot of people, if you stay awake late at night and you watch some late-night cable, you're going to come across one of those guys. You know who I mean, right?
Absolutely. And, that is an interesting aspect because a lot of people became real estate investors in 2005 and 2006. And they were novice in it, and they're out of it. And the ones that this is something that they worked at, they have a system, they have what we like to call the cash flow positive. They looked at it, they had a business plan for this, and they went after property. When the market went hot, they had to pull back a little bit because they couldn't compete with a lot of people that would get emotional with a property. And now that has fallen off. The novice real estate investors have gotten out of it, and they are reaping the rewards. So
the novices had the buy and flip approach?
Yeah, the buy, flip, and making a quick, taking it, investing in something else. Well, the problem with that is that at the end of the day, the market changed, and they were still holding that property.
Right, that's a really, really important lesson for a lot of people. Buy, flip, a short-term view in real estate investing is really a bad idea. This is a long-term, slow-moving behemoth, and if you're looking for something short-term, go to Wall Street, go to E-Trade. That's the way they play things. But, people talk about getting rich quick in real estate. You can't get rich quick. You can make a score, right? You can buy something for $80,000, flip it for $100,000, you made $20,000. Well, you can't buy a Hyundai for $20,000. You didn't get rich because you made $20,000. So you take that, you roll into another one, try to make another 20. Eventually the music stops, you get caught, and instead of making another 20, you lose all of the 80 that you just previously piled up over a couple of years, and maybe you get jammed up with a property you can't sell. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that the professional investors felt they had to back away because they couldn't compete with the amateurs. And now that the amateurs, it's like when you go out on New Year's Eve, right? New Year's Eve, if you like to go out, a lot of people that go out a lot stay in on New Year's Eve because that's when all the junior varsity is out there on the roads, and you just don't want to be involved in that. Same kind of principle here. So you, Rob, you're also an investor as well, and you told me a story before we got on the air about something you bought kind of near the peak and how your outlook is on that.
Well, I did. I mean, I did my, what I needed to do, and it looked like a good investment. I mean, it is a good investment. But at the end of the day, I put enough down on it that, and putting a renter in it, that I'm going to be okay. But it's going to be long term. It's not going to be something that, 2 to 3 years that I'm going to, make this big pile of money. It's going to be down the road and taking advantage of a lot of things, of taxes and insurance and so forth. And we're going to be okay. And I think that's the approach that the consumer has to look at this, that, this is, for the investor person, this is long-term. It's not short-term. You said that. But I think another issue that you've got to look at is that we're going to have a lot of what I call white-collar renters that maybe had to short sell their house, or their house got foreclosed on. They got dinged on their credit. They can't go buy. And that's going to be an influx to people who are investors who have property that can rent to them. They make a great living. They just fell on some hard times. Well,
that's exactly right. I really appreciate you saying that. I'm going to get into this in the next segment about the increase in rental households now that home ownership is going down, and how this is about as good a time as ever to be a landlord. But listen, I really appreciate you coming on the air with us, Rob. How do people find you?
You can. We welcome everyone coming to South Carolina, especially Charleston. But you can reach me at 843-697-2313.
Awesome. Hey, thanks a lot, Rob. Have a great day.
You too.
This is Rand on Real Estate. I want you to give us a call. Talk about your real estate ideas, and let's bulletproof some of your plans. Our number here is 800-848-WABC. The rest of the show, we're going to be talking to you, taking your calls. My website is ownamerica.com. My upcoming book is called Crash Boom. You can buy it there. So stay with us. We have a lot more cool stuff coming up.